Hello, guys. Give me a second. Yes, we are live for a Friday Q&A session. And we've already got a couple of guys here. Paul, good to see you on YouTube. Mubin on Facebook. Obviously, you guys can come in from LinkedIn, the Facebook groups, whatever it's going to be. And I'll try and answer as many of your questions as I possibly can in the next hour, if the questions are there. Feel free to ask questions about anything you like, digital related, YouTube, whatever you want. It's Friday, so it's always good to try and learn something on a Friday, get something fresh in your head. So yeah, ask whatever you want, guys. It's I'll just give you a few minutes. We've got Robert Petrowoski. Good to see you, Robert. But yeah, ask whatever you like in the chat there, and I will try and give as honest an answer as I possibly can. And as I say, it can be anything, whether it's SEO related, YouTube related, whatever. More than happy to answer those questions for you. So make sure you do put them in the chat so that I see them. Some people moan that I'm ignoring their questions. Sometimes I'm not pulling through. I'm basically using streaming software where it puts it out to 5 different channels, and it should pull the majority of them through, to be honest. Monroe, skiving at work. Get some work done, you cunt. Ryan Houghton, good to see you, buddy. You follow me about everywhere, Ryan. Everywhere. Which is no bad thing. Not complaining. Mr. Roberts. I love it. Fake persona there. When you power up a fresh domain in a reasonably difficult niche, do you start links at homepage first or deep link? Probably a bit of both, to be honest, mate. Obviously, when you start with a fresh domain name, you can't really go that deep in terms of your link building because, sadly, you don't have all the pages you probably want on there at that point. So homepage is probably always going to be, something you're going to start with regardless. And, if you do have the ability to link to some of your internal pages at the same time, then go for it. I would mix it all up as much as I can. But initially, when you're starting out with a fresh website, what you want to do is build the domain authority up, and the homepage is the kind of main way to do that. And, I get citations, start getting guest posts and all that kind of stuff, and then I start to do all my kind of inner stuff. So hopefully that helps you, Mr. I'm not even going to say Mr. Roberts because I can't call you Roberts. It's just physically not possible. Yo, Facebook user. Can't see who you are, but yo back. Raymond Stanley, hi, mate. Hope all is well. Ryan Houghton, I'm not wrong. Yeah, mate. It's always good to learn, though. And Paul, you're new to the channel, learning a lot. Thank you, mate. Keep following. Hopefully I'll continue to add value. I try and do 1 or 2 question and answer sessions a week. I do a podcast. I do a show with Chris Palmer on a Wednesday, and I probably will be doing shows with other people as well as trying to do tutorials and stuff like that. Bernadette, can I talk a bit more about broken links? So I do have a video on this already on YouTube, but I'll show you live. Give me a second. So just to give you an example, now you can use this whatever way you see fit. But for example, if I go to amazon.co.uk, and I go down to broken links, which is just down here, what I can see is a whole bunch of broken links on like the BBC website or whatever that Amazon are linking out to. Now you could potentially link out to Amazon saying you are linking to a broken resource. Why don't you link to me and all that kind of stuff? But before we do that, what I want to do is go to Site Explorer, and I'm going to put that URL in. Now, what you will also see with this, the URL specific, is that also has 106 referring domains. So all of these websites here are linking to that broken resource. Now you can step in, you can reach out to the website that's listing this saying, hi mate, you're linking to a broken resource. I've got a resource that does exactly this here. Why don't you link to that? And that is a good thing to do with broken link building. So people don't want to link to broken resources. Some people don't even do regular site audits and they don't know that they're linking to a broken resource. So broken link building can work in that way. Now, it does also allow you the opportunity, say it's one of your competition and people are linking to his, link building page, for example. The minute that's broken, I'm going to be, everyone who's linking to that article, I'm going to be out there saying, come and point to my link building page. So you can use this data, in a number of different ways to unravel broken links. And it's a bit, naughty, if you like, but it can work very well. So hopefully that helps you. But there is a video on broken link building on the YouTube channel I've got. So if you go to my YouTube channel, go to playlist, there's a link building tutorial there, which I'm basically releasing a video a day on all different types of tactics. So hopefully that helps you, Bernadette. Robert, let's start from internal link building. How deep or how many subfolders do you recommend? I hate the answer. It depends, but it really does. How deep do you want to go? Internal linking is all about powering up your main pages and your main categories on your website. Now, what you need to do is think about, what's your top 10 performing pages or what's your top 10 performing products, and build internal links to that. But that's going to grow. You're not only always going to have a top 10 or a top 20 or a top 50, it's always going to evolve. So how deep do you go? Really, you can go as deep as you like. In terms of subfolders, I could have a product that makes me $1,000 profit, and it could be, so far down the subfolder chain because of where it is in my website and my silo structure, I couldn't give a shit. I will be internal linking to that product if that's what makes me the most money. So I wouldn't be worried too much, how many subfolders do you recommend or anything like that. I would be powering up stuff. And obviously with an e-commerce website or whatever it's going to be, you make sure that certain folders and stuff like that don't get crawled and indexed as well if you don't really want to pass any power to them. So, yeah, make sure you have the right structure. Mark Flanagan, have you ever tested using a subdomain with decent content as a buffer for links to them? I wouldn't test that, Mark, to be fair, because I think if you were, I haven't tested it, but if I was to test it and it was to get a penalty in any way, I don't see that buffer helping in any way because it is attached to your main money domain anyway. So I wouldn't bother with that particular thing. Obviously, when I'm building a buffer for links, I'm building guest posts, direct citations, whatever, as that buffer, and then whatever goes on underneath that buffer, you can be spammy as you like because it's not endangering your money website. But the job for me is not to obviously endanger the money website. Ryan Houghton, shows with others. Yeah, I'm going to try and get different guys on who are specialists in different things, like Jordan Pierce is a specialist in GMB, so I'm going to get him on, and we can do a Q&A on, you know, GMBs and all the kind of weird and wonderful tricks that these guys get up to, and you know, I want to do more of that and pick people's brains, because obviously, you know, people all over the world are doing some weird ass shit, and I want to know all about it and, you know, continue to learn myself. So if I can get them on here and it helps you guys and helps me, it's win-win. So let us know about coming updates related to SEO. I wish I knew, Mubin. I wish I knew. I don't know the updates any more than you or anyone else in this chat. You know, we've got to just keep our ear close to the ground, monitor large sets of data, you know, talk to people, you know, understand how it works. And, you know, that's it. You know, what, you know, you mean, you know, you want to understand what it takes to become successful in SEO. Anyone can learn SEO. Anyone can learn how to place a title tag, how to write content, how to do internal linking, how to build links and all that kind of stuff. I think one of the things that maybe differs between certain people is their ability, you know, to read between the lines, or their ability to take a chance or try something out or do a lot of testing. I think that's the difference between an SEO and a really good SEO. And that's not something you can train. You either have it or you don't. You either have common sense or you don't. You either do, you are a gambler, you know, you take a chance, or you're geeky about things and want to test shit out. You know, if I see a guy like Ryan Houghton, for example, that says, hey, Craig, I've got this, you know, I'm doing this kind of click-through rate thing, and you know, it's manipulating stuff and it's getting me better results, then I'm going to be trying that shit out. You know, I'm not going to take Ryan's word, no disrespect to Ryan's word for it, and just go for it and get my team on it. I'm going to try that shit out. And if it works, then I'll roll it out, you know, across the board. But you have to read between the lines and test. That's what's going to make you successful. Not, you know, everything else is all, you know, teachable. But I think, you know, people's taking action is what people don't do. People talk, don't do anything. So, you know, you've got to have that ability to keep your ear close to the ground, surround yourself with the right people, and that's it. It's not that hard from there. I'm a genius lad. Thank you very much. Full of compliments today. Yo. So it was you, Mr. Dane. Mr. Gareth Dane has actually got automated outreach and link building tool that's just coming out. You know, you can register to be a beta user. If you go to my Facebook, you'll be able to see a link. I put it out about an hour ago. And again, this is trying and testing different things. So obviously Gareth Dane knows the pains of link building and doing outreach and all the shit that goes with it, you know. And we all know that doing generic outreach, you know, the first email is not really going to get that many responses. It's all about the follow-up sequence and, you know, the negotiation and prices and all that stuff. So if you can automate a lot of that stuff, then you're going to be in a much better position. And Gareth is bringing a level of automation to that, which I'm curious to see. So you can have a look. He's releasing the beta, or he's looking for 100 people to sign up for the beta. And it's something worth looking at, because he's a guy that likes all this stuff, and, you know, has the skills to make the automated side of things. He's, you know, comes from a developer background, and it's guys like him that make my job easier. So it's always good to play around with these things. So give it a look at. How many subfolders do you recommend using URLs? So a smaller website sometimes can just have a flat URL structure. Going on to bigger websites, it depends on how many products you have. I wouldn't be limiting myself by subfolders. Of course, I wouldn't have 10 or anything like that. But what you have to do is obviously maybe have 2 or 3 if you've got large amounts of categories and products. You just can't help it, and that's just the way it has to be. So creating a good silo structure is important, especially when it's, you know, websites with over 1,000 pages or whatever. You know, sometimes people don't bother. I've had Amazon affiliate websites that just have a flat URL structure. Is it hugely important? Of course, I think it is important. the bigger the website goes. But I wouldn't be having outrageous amounts of categories. You know, I would probably try and use 2 or 3 at most where possible. But you know, sometimes it's going to go a little bit more, depending on the size of your website. Shalaka, can we ignore social media while doing SEO? I think that would be crazy to do that, because, you know, SEO is SEO, and obviously we all know it's about technical content, links, and all that kind of stuff. But a big part of SEO is also about click-through rate, you know, time on website, you know, user engagement. And I think user engagement signals are becoming more powerful. So I don't see why you would ignore social media when you can use those social media channels to drive more traffic to your website, which will increase your click-through rate, time on website, and all of that stuff. And if your social media strategy is on point, it will help your SEO no end. You know, I use Facebook ads, for example, to drive traffic to my YouTube channel to get engagement. I drive it to my pages on my website, and it's all about getting that user engagement. So I think it would be crazy to ignore social media. I think you've got to use these things. I think they're interlinked anyway, but I think you've got to use social media to drive traffic. Great way of doing it, and it just helps overall with everything. So I would use it. Bernadette, thank you so much. No problem at all. Internal links shouldn't go any further than 3 clicks from the homepage. Yeah, I mean, a lot of tools will tell you that, but you know, there's always going to be instances where that changes. But yeah, you want to try and stick to that kind of mythology if you can. Charlotte Codner just joined a company that basically has never invested the time and effort in digital marketing. Website is not optimized at all. Plan of attack is to sort out their metadata, category content, and then ranking content. Are there any quick wins or tips you can recommend to support that activity? Charlotte, it's obviously a big task, and I've helped many people in your position. You know, a lot of people, or a lot of companies out there still don't invest time in digital marketing, and their websites, you know, are not optimized. There's no title tags, there's no content strategy. There's nothing at all. What I would say is obviously get the base of the website done first. You know, the content's got to be in place. You know, technically the website's got to be sound. And then from there, you can go on and start to, you know, build links, build up social media and all that kind of stuff. But I think what I would say to anyone in your position, Charlotte, is get the foundation right first. You know, if you've got a website that's just not optimized, the basics need to be done first. You've got to start off with that good, solid foundation. And from there, everything else can happen. You know, you can hire people to accelerate that process as well. You know, obviously, if you're starting in a new company, you might be left with that whole task, which is unfortunate. But people do get that as well. But I think it's a great learning curve too. But as I say, do not, you know, don't try and jump ahead too quick, because a lot of people, you know, try to get into link building because they feel that's the most important part of SEO and totally ignore the core things that work, which are required, which is a good, fast loading, clean, easy to navigate website that has some nice content on there that can rank. And then from there, go through, do your metadata, internal linking, and all the on-page stuff that you need to do. But any quick wins and tips, you know, what you're doing is inheriting a tedious task, which is all fairly hard. There is no real way of automating a lot of that stuff. I think, you know, in terms of acceleration, it comes down to budget, you know, having the right processes in place and being able to scale using virtual assistants and stuff like that. That would be the way I would tend to do it. But again, that is budget dependent. So, you know, you don't want to be doing all the donkey work, Charlotte. You know, in an ideal world, you would be the manager of this process and you would delegate, you know, set up processes and delegate so that you can get from A to B a hell of a lot quicker than, you know, maybe you sitting doing it all. So, you know, I would try and see if there's any budget for that. But as I say, start at the bottom and work your way up, man, foundation-wise. Robert, should we use internal linking in silo structure, or can we really mix the content? You want to mix it all up. You know, your silo architecture is, you know, not necessarily going to be your internal linking structure. To be honest with you, a good silo structure is the structure of your pages, categories, products, and all that kind of stuff. You know, your internal linking is pointing to the most powerful pages on your website. So they're two different things. Obviously, you do want to mix it up anyway. You don't want it to look spammy, but I wouldn't be building a silo structure as an internal linking structure if that's what you're asking me. Your silo structure is your silo structure. Easy for customers to navigate. It's got to make common sense, not confuse people. So keep that simple and tidy. How to start link building for a new website. So I've got a link building guide, which I'm adding a video per day. If you go to my YouTube channel and go to playlist and link building, it will tell you from the very start how to build links. And every day, it's not complete because I only started it on Monday, but there's 7 or 8 videos, and there's a video going up every day which will go through how to start link building. There's numerous different tasks, and obviously during the Q&A session, it's not viable to make the Q&A session specifically to you or link building because other people have got questions. WordPress plugins, you know, you want a caching plugin, you want an internal linking plugin called Link Whisper. I think you know, a caching plugin, internal linking. What other? But I mean, you don't want to rely on too many plugins as such. You know, you've always got your SEO plugin, which is your all-in-one Yoast or whatever it's going to be. I've got image compression plugins. That would be about it. You don't really need too much in the way of plugins. Itamar, spot on. Testing is something people don't do. Whoa, what was I supposed to have said? I can't even remember now, Ryan. I blamed you for something. Paul, can you recommend a social marketing company guest post provider? Now you've got, I can give you a guest post provider, no problem. You've got linksforyou.com. In terms of a social marketing company, I do all my, you know, I've got my own internal team that do all of my social stuff and my videos and stuff. So I don't outsource that, and I'm not sure who would be best because I don't have any experience in going to social media marketing companies. But there's tons of them out there. I think you've just got to try them out. But off the top of my head, I can't think of anyone that I could personally recommend that's good at social media marketing. But as I say, there's tons out there. I just don't look for that type of thing on a regular basis. So, yeah, hopefully that wee bit helps. Do you still think profile link building still move a needle? It can do. It's not something I would actively push in a big way, but of course, you know, profile link building still can move the needle depending on where those profiles are. So getting on those big websites that allow you to have a profile will work. Build trust and obviously pass some nice juice as well. So of course I would add that to the mix. MG, what tools do you use to find social media followers of your competitors? I mean, all you need to do is go to the social media profile itself. So for example, if it's Twitter, just go and see who their followers are and you can start following them. But if you want a social media tool where you can automate a lot of that stuff, then you've got Jarvee, JARVEE.com. And that basically allows you to say, follow everyone who follows Matt Diggity, Matthew Woodward, or any of these kind of guys. You know, these are SEO guys, but you know, it depends on what niche you're in. But you can basically get that to follow people in that industry. And if they don't follow back within a set period of time, you can make it automatically unfollow them. So you can automate a lot of that stuff. And yeah, Jarvee is the one I would recommend. And Shalaka, no problem at all. Thomas Smith, I thought this was a scam until Top Light Hack on flipped 10k cash my hand app. So I'm excited. I have no idea what that is, but I think you're advertising there, buddy. So you're blocked. Fuck off. Ryan Houghton, he is advertising. Paul Hogden, Craig, you legend. Would you say that you only start to get benefits from SEO if you're in the top half of page one or maybe higher? Or do you have different experiences? I mean, I think, Paul, common sense would tell you that, I've been in position 5 or position 7 or whatever, for certain search terms. The phone doesn't ring, the orders are not really coming in. When you hit that top 5 or even top 3, or even being in position 3, the difference between being in position 1, 2, into position 3 is phenomenal. So, of course, I mean, who the hell scrolls past position 5? Obviously, you're going to get stragglers, tire kickers, people who don't want to pay the right price and all that stuff. So I think, in terms of quality conversions, people who are just ready to buy right now, the top 3 position, obviously the top position is getting the majority of the traffic. If that person doesn't respond or doesn't have it in stock or whatever the service you're providing is, of course, people will go to pay position 2 and position 3. But I don't feel that they go much further. And of course, people will argue that they do get a fair amount of traffic, sitting in position 6. If you're a roofer or whatever, and, some of the other guys in the top couple of positions don't always answer their phone, which I'm sure many of us have experienced when trying to hire a tradesman, where they're not responsive, then maybe you do get a good bit of traffic in that instance. But if it's e-commerce, something fast, the top positions really are where the money's at. Hi, Parul. MG, where can you find good content writers? I mean, you can go to Upwork. I mean, I think it's a trial and error thing. What I've found and what I've learned by speaking to other people is an area that's quite untapped is South Africa. So everyone wants the cheap content writers, and of course, we all want to save money. South Africa has a low cost of living, and their native language is English. So I think it's an untapped market. They don't have onlinejobs.ph for the guys in the Philippines or whatever. But what you can do is advertise on South Africa's Gumtree, look for content writers there. That is a kind of place where a lot of people are looking at just now. But other than that, you've got your Upworks and stuff like that. Again, it's like finding a needle in a haystack. You sometimes hire someone, absolute garbage. I think finding a good content writer is hard work. I've always found that to be one of the most difficult things you can ever do. So South Africa is a little tip for you, so have a look there. Robert, what are the top 5 internal linking tools? I'm only going to give you one, and that would be Link Whisper for WordPress. There's plenty of other tools. You can manually build your internal links. There is a number of other tools out there, which I've got on my YouTube channel. But again, I don't want to be listing top 5s and all that. It's just a time drag, if you get what I'm saying. Don't want to be rude, mate, but it's a question and answers, and I don't want to be getting into top 5 or taking 10 minutes to explain every answer. Just that's something, obviously, you can Google, and it's obviously something I have spoken about in previous videos. If you want previous videos talking about internal linking, I do have one under Link Whisper, and I do have one under Dixon Jones podcast, who also has an internal link building tool, amongst other things there. So I would recommend that you go and watch those both. Ryan Roberts, what's the most common thing that gave you the most headaches in your early days of building sites or doing SEO? That a lot of things, man. It's hard to, I think finding the right people, getting the right processes in place were all bollocks because I wasn't really working that smart. Hiring people, I just feel as if that was something that blew my brain. So trying to scale up was hard, just not having the the right experience and stuff like that when you start out as well. You just don't understand it as much as you understand it now. So I think people are always the problem. You know, getting people to do the job or do an honest job or charge the right price can be quite hard. And obviously client expectations as well. Obviously, when I was starting out, I'd done a lot of client work, and the biggest headache was dealing with those clients, managing those clients' expectations, trying to educate the clients. I just felt that I was spending more time doing that than actually doing any work. So those are some of the most common headaches I think a lot of people do come across, and it's fucking hard work, as I'm sure you know, mate. Working in an agency, so it's not easy. Ryan Houghton, Black Hat World is often a good place to find content writers. Depends on what you need and the pricing. On that subject, Ryan, the Black Hat World, there might be and there might not be. One thing I would say in content is don't scrimp and scrape. Do not always look for the cheapest, because sometimes it's better to spend an extra $5 an article or an extra $10 an article. It can make the world a difference, believe me. Yeah, just another wee tip there. The videos have been awesome so far. Cheers, Itamar. Ryan is talking about some plugins which will help the other guy. Be More Social is a good social marketing company. In regards to social media, I have a question. What tool was you using to automate your LinkedIn? Oh yeah, that TikTok video. That is a tool called Linked Helper. So I'll give me a second. Share screen. Just because the old accent might annoy people to some degree. But this tool, Linked Helper, it's $15. It's a Google Chrome extension. And what it basically does is it basically does everything. So it can basically invite people to groups. It can message first connections. It can automatically send a message to recently added connections. It can send messages to LinkedIn group members. It can basically endorse people on autopilot. You can add your signature to all your messages. You can automatically visit people's profiles. You can automatically follow people's profiles. You can do a whole bunch of stuff, and you can extract data. You can delete people. It's $15 a month, and it just works away in the background all day, every day. So that tool, in terms of LinkedIn growth, is a really good tool. So something I've used for a number of years, and I've got a fairly healthy LinkedIn profile now. I can't even have any more connections. I've got 30,000, which is the limit, and I've got, I think, 40-odd thousand followers. So just doing that and you know, connecting massive, you know, in a massive way with the right people. Naman Gupta, how can I rank my blogging website? Content links, a whole bunch of stuff, mate. You're probably better Googling that. There's a very, very generic question. You know, you'd have to learn the SEO and all that kind of stuff, and do internal linking, silo structure, get keyword research, the whole works, mate. So a lot more to it to do, to, you know, just give you a full answer here. How long does it take? How long's a piece of string? It really depends on, you know, what you're trying to achieve. Of course, you can rank long tail keywords very quickly, but what is ranking a blog? What does that even mean? Is that 1,000 visitors? Is it 10,000? Is it 100,000? What does that actually mean? Of course, in 3 months, you're going to have traffic if you hit the ground running. In 6 months, you're going to have more traffic. In a year, you're going to have more traffic. You know, I've been blogging for 10 years, if not more. So, and there's guys out there whipping my ass, you know. So, it depends on what you determine as ranking with your blog. Mads, what's up, man? Mads Singer's another relatively clever guy. He's quite old, but knows his stuff. So if you're ever looking for any advice on managing staff, managing teams. Mads is your man. He also does a lot of other stuff as well, Mad Singers, but great guy. Don't tell him I said that, though. Just tell him he's old. Mads actually claims he's of a similar age to me, but no chance. Tala Wahid, which one is better, SEO Autopilot or Ranker X? I would say SEO Autopilot, but they're both good tools and all that stuff. I don't want to be seen as dismissing another man's tool. Sometimes you just get a personal preference, and SEO Autopilot's my personal preference. I understand how it works. I know the owner. He helps me a lot. If I'm stuck, and I've just got a better relationship with SEO Autopilot. Nothing against Ranker X. It's just the way it is. But I've heard of many other SEOs having great success with Ranker X as well. But my personal preference is SEO Autopilot, man. Craig Dewart, what should you do if a site isn't indexed and 100k fresh content added to an auction domain? Nothing budget. Been 2 days. Mate, at the moment, I don't know what rock you've been hiding under, but people are having massive issues with indexing at the moment. Many of the indexing tools are not working. When you have that sheer amount, you're just going to have to wait. Now, a lot of people say, oh, you can just bash it through this or do that, or stick a post up in your GMB. But for you to do that with 100,000 things is just going to look horrendous. So I think you just got to be patient, buddy. It will come. Indexing is just taking a wee bit longer than it did, and it has been the case throughout the whole of May. After that update, and even now, people are still complaining that indexing tools are not working. So it's only been 2 days. I would be patient, mate. Give it weeks, and especially when you've got 100,000 pages, they're not all going to get indexed at once. So a little bit more patience is what you need there, Craigie boy. Raki, I just passed 10th standard. I'm curious to learn languages. How should I learn it? I can barely speak English, so I'm probably not the best to advise. But I'm sure there's many online courses out there that will help you. But I'm not sure because I've never learned another language myself. So do not want to misinform you, guys. Also, make sure you give this video a little bit of a like and stuff like that, because engagement signals do help and it keeps me coming back. So please make sure you do give me a little like as well. Simon Royal, what is today's basketball vest? Golden State Warriors is the one today. I just grab one, whatever's there, whatever the wife's washed, and stick it on. Ryan Houghton, content writing is something I'm massively pushing as a service. Oh, Jesus, man, you must be the only man out there that loves content writing, but each to their own. Could be good, Ryan, if you've got a good service and you're able to scale that up and you've got other good writers, because everyone is always looking for good content. Luke S., first Aussie you had in the show. Good to see you, Luke. Nice to see someone from good old Aussie on here. See you later, Monroe. Who's the son of my mother? Not sure what you mean by that, but I'm pretty sure I'm the son of my mother. Simon Royal, have you ever used call tracking to understand marketing activity? Any recommendations if you have? I have used call tracking. I use VoIP software, but you can use Twilio, you can use all of that kind of stuff. There's a tool out there just now called Go High Level, which a lot of people are using for marketing. And obviously you can listen to your calls there, but you can also try out other things like text message marketing, voicemail drops and stuff like that as well. And I have played around with a lot of that stuff. And obviously getting right into the right people is the key part of everything. But I'm just a couple of numpties on here trying to give out abuse, just making sure they're away. But yeah, Go high level, something I play, but you can use VoIP or whatever, just run your calls through that, and you can go back and listen to them and understand what's going on, and depends on what website you're doing that on. I used to do it with a lot of lead gen sites and just understand how the people were answering the phone within the company and all that as well, and try and refine that process if they were not being that useful on the phone and things like that, because obviously I was generating leads and obviously getting paid for leads, and I had to be able to understand what was going out with what I was doing. So that's how I done it. Luke S, I'm doing individual pages for each suburb for a service. How much content is too much content? I'm averaging 1,200 words per suburb, and because it's technical writing, I'm doing it myself, and it's hard work, mate. Do you need 1,200 words per suburb? Probably not. How many words? There's no such thing as too much content. I think a lot of people underdo it, and they expect like 200 words of content to rank for certain suburbs. Certain suburbs will rank with 300 or 400 words of content, and certain ones won't, just due to the level of competition, the size of those suburbs. So there is no figure I can give you as such. Just, you have to use a bit of common sense. So in the UK, for example, I could probably rank, for somewhere like Lytham St Anne's, which is just outside Blackpool, with a couple of hundred words. Whereas if I was going to try and go for Manchester, then I'm going to have to up my game and up the content and everything else. But basically what you have to do is just look at the top 10 positions for any given search term and match or beat what those guys are doing. But yeah, so you're taking ages, you've tried 8 Upwork people and they're good, but what the right takes the meaning out of the content. Yeah, the problem that it has is, if someone was going to ask me to write about roofs or something, I know nothing about roofs, and I'm not going to be an expert in that. So it's no one's an expert in everything, and obviously certainly in Upwork, if you are business, which I think you said earlier was quite technical, the content was quite technical or whatever, and then you are going to struggle with someone in Upwork. So what Ryan's saying there, someone who understands your niche, you can train these people on your niche, but Simon Royal, would you use linked helper for your business or your own profile? Yes, Simon, anything I recommend, I always use myself. I wouldn't recommend something that I've never tried or never used. My LinkedIn profile, I've used linked helper for a long time, many years, and even before linked helper was there was another tool that done a very similar thing, which LinkedIn banned. So yeah, I love automation, Simon. So anything that takes that tedious work out, I'm always all over it. Robert, cheers, mate. As I say, just trying to give value whilst going through as many of these as I possibly can. Mads is a young man, Blair. Believe me, man. Come on. Look at Mads. Look at his photographs. Elton Musa. Hey, Craig, I had a question about some links from your guides. What are the Google redirection links? Google.com, some parameters in your website.com. I would need to, Elton, private message me and I'll explain more. They're likely to be some kind of Google stack or something. It depends on which one you're referring to, though, but could be a URL shortener. Could be. I'd need to look at it specifically and give you a better answer. So if you can ping me on Facebook or something, I'll give you a more accurate answer. Cheers, Tala. Hello, Minute Rocket Science. Hello. Great advice as always. Thanks, Chris. So, guys, I'm actually on target for, I've answered all the questions so far, so keep your questions coming. Got another 14 minutes. Also, make sure that you do like the video. It is really important that I get those user engagement signals up. So please do give me a like if you feel that I've been offering any kind of value here. But yeah, if you can ask any other questions, we will use up the time if I possibly can. I know it's Friday and some of you guys may have already knocked off for the day. Or, I know some of you guys are in Australia and stuff, and it already is late in the evening, probably sinking a beer, which I'm jealous of. It's only 1:45. Ua Kozłowska. I am here for the first time. Thanks for sharing the knowledge. No problem at all. I do it regular. I try and do 2 question and answer sessions per week on my own. I do release podcasts, and I do have a session with Chris Palmer on a Wednesday, which is also good value, to try and answer the questions that you guys want answered, rather than us forcing upon you something that may or may not be useful to you. So keep coming back, or subscribe to the YouTube channel or whatever. There's tons of good content on there. But I do appreciate you coming along. Craig Dewar, I wouldn't throw up 100 words straight away, mate. Nah. Drip feed it on, like publish 10 posts a day or something. 100,000 words straight away is fucking madness. I always drip feed. Do anything, mate, to make it look natural. Just slapping that up and then maybe not doing something for the next 3 months. It's a bit bizarre. So I wouldn't be doing that. And obviously, if you drip feed it out, you're going to encourage Google to come back and crawl and index your content more frequently as well. So just remember that, Craig. I think I'll do that. Some have hit second and fall straight away. Whether they'll jump down soon. Look, you probably find that a lot of suburbs will stick, and some may dip slightly as the more when you're adding more. But I think it's just a case of then pointing some links to some of the more higher profile or most searched suburbs, and you will be in a good position, mate. It's freezing here, 14 degrees. It's probably about 14 degrees in Glasgow today. It was like 30 yesterday, though, which is why I've got a wee bit of a burnt forehead. Tala, in your experience, how one can make more money, clients SEO or affiliate? Listen, there's a lot of guys out there who do client SEO who make a shit ton of money. I'm not going to say there isn't. I prefer affiliate because I don't really like the problem I don't like about client side is 50% of your time is wasted on no value stuff, which is humouring the client. So for me, that's just a complete waste of time. So I'd rather be spending my time being productive and working on my own projects, but that's just my own opinion. I know guys who make a lot of money, running agencies as well. So it really comes down to your personal preference and the processes and the people you've got around about you as well. If you've got a good team, client work, you can make a lot of money as well. So there you go. David Wilding, may I ask, how do you make most of your money? Is it through affiliate stuff, training, appearances? It has changed over time, David. I think, where I've cleverly been doing things, and I don't know if I've done it consciously or not, but I have money coming from multiple different sources. I do training, I get money for it. I do affiliate, I get money for it. I've got a couple of e-commerce websites, I get money for it. And appearances and stuff, you obviously sometimes get money for it, sometimes you don't. But yeah, training, consultancy, all that kind of stuff I get money for, as well as affiliate stuff. And I think for me, having a number of different income streams is the sensible option. And obviously, as I've got older, I've started to invest in property and real estate and all that kind of stuff as well, with a view to that becoming an income stream or a pension or whatever you want. And I think, just a clever way to do things is just diversify your income streams. Do not have all your eggs in one basket, because if I was to go all out on training, then, training was just no longer a thing anymore. You know what happens, or if I went all out on Amazon affiliate, like a lot of people did, and then last month they cut the commission again, and basically stuffed a lot of people, then you're all out on one income stream, and that's a dangerous game. So I've always tried to mix it up, man. Mark Flanagan, hi bud, can't remember this being answered. I don't see any question there. We did answer one of your questions at the start though. I was going to do 150k a month. I think you need to build up to 150 words a month. Nothing wrong with it, but build up to it. Don't just go from nothing to 150k. Hi guys, hi Shanana. Good to see you. And look, what's your thoughts in Facebook groups? I know the USA was trying the paid entry to groups. Not seen it here though. Will it put people off, or will groups get better due to no spam? I mean, that's a tough one. I'm not a huge fan of groups anyway. I participate in a few. I wouldn't pay to be in a group. I certainly would not pay to share knowledge. Absolutely no chance in the world. So what you would do is lose out experienced guys, participating in the groups, unless there was a way of certain people getting in for free. I don't think you'll ever stop spam. I think it's just the nature of the beast with groups. And even if they were to apply a fee, I think some people will find a way to do it. So I'm not sure, man. I'm not sure. I certainly wouldn't be interested in paying for it, though. That's a fact. So there you go. On the groups, I have my own group anyway, Ryan, Craig Campbell SEO training. Mainly for people who've done the free training course I've got. They can go in there, chat, and ask questions, and actually what these live question and answer sessions are actually for. So I've obviously opened it up to everyone across all of my channels, but mainly what I wanted to do was come on once a week, and some of these guys are complete rookies and they're just new to it, and I wanted to offer a question and answer sessions for those people. So that was the whole purpose of actually doing these Q&As. But I think opening it up to everyone's a good thing as well, and we can all learn, and even the inexperienced guys can see more experienced guys' questions and problems they're facing, and yeah, there you go. David Holgate, if you don't mind me asking, are your e-com sites using the dropshipping model? No, they are not. Now, this is something I've learned over time, David, is the e-com sites I've had in the past. I've tried e-segs, women's clothes, like even in my warehouse just now, we've got a fucking stack of fucking women's clothes sitting there because we held stock, and people were returning stuff and it was eating up into the profit. So we stopped that. We tried the drop shipping model with a couple of other things. The drop shipper, was unreliable, sending out the wrong stock, and it was a whole problem. So what I decided was, over time, where is the biggest problem with everything? And it's where human beings are involved. So people send out the wrong shit, deliver the wrong shit, break shit, all that stuff. So the e-com sites that I currently have digital downloads. That's it. So when someone buys something, it gets given to them. I don't want to talk about too much about the niches and stuff, but it's not a physical product that gets sent out, put it that way. And the reason I chose those was because there was decent search volume, low competition, but most importantly, people don't run out of stock. People don't return the item. People don't say it got lost and all of that kind of crap that goes on with drop shipping. So that is why I decided to go down that route, because I probably had 50 plus failed drop shipping and e-com ventures where I've held stock, drop shipping, the full works, man, and it's been god awful, really god awful. I've been unlucky. Listen, there's other guys out there who absolutely kill it, but I've had a shit run of luck with that stuff. So, and I've also worked on projects, where a guy sold, he was selling like army surplus equipment, and stuff like that. And he was also selling army boots and shoes and all that stuff. And he had his Pakistani supplier for this stuff, and obviously Pakistan is good for that type of thing. But he got like this shoe sent over as a trial. Like, this is the shoes we're going to supply. Here's the quality. What do you think? If you like it, you can order in a shit ton of sizes or whatever. So the guy spent something like 20 grand on a shipment for all different sizes and different types and all that shit. And when the shoes got there, they were nothing like that model. You could see the glue and everything. They were like the worst things you've ever seen, really. So again, I get put off. I've seen so many fucking horror stories with products that I decided products is not a good idea, man. So I'm just all laughing at these shoes. The guy's face, he was fuming. I think he had to go to the Pakistani embassy and shit to try and get his money back, which I probably shouldn't laugh at. But his face when he opened the first box of those shoes was fucking priceless. It will live with me to the day I die. It's unbelievable. Anyway, Ryan, yeah, I've got my own book, and Fight for Gaming. I'm good, lads. I am good. Hope you are too. Ryan Houghton, would you say that blog post writing and written content has demand, something I genuinely enjoy? And if it's something I could focus on in income, I absolutely would. Ryan, there's so many ways that you could make money. There's guys out there who simply want content for their affiliate sites, whether you be a ghostwriter for an SEO guy, if you've got good knowledge in a particular area, then you can make money on that. I know lots of SEO guys who simply don't have enough time to write their own blogs. They'd love to pay a guy like you. Now, I can't remember where you're from, Ryan, but clearly you're a native English speaker of some description by your name. You just need to get out in front of the right people. You can make a shit ton of money. There's guys out there charging decent money, which they deserve, and rightly so, for having good knowledge on a specific subject. So you could become an SEO ghostwriter or a writer of whatever type of thing it is that you are really passionate about. What I would say to someone like yourself is, because it's such a tedious job, make sure that you do focus on something that you actually enjoy or are quite passionate about, because there's nothing worse than writing something about something next to nothing about. Look, what's the best process to get your citations crawled and documents in Google Drive? Not sure what you mean by documents in your Google Drive. You don't want to be really messing about with that stuff, unless you're building Google Stacks or whatever. But citations are links on directories and stuff like that, and you can send them to an indexing tool. The SEObuilder.com, who builds citations, does it all for you. So not something you need to worry about too much. Joseph McClelland, what's your opinion on city-specific pages for a local business that services a bunch of cities but only has one physical location? Does the content have to be unique from city to city? How do I answer this? Yes and no. So, Joseph, I know guys who do this, and they use a mass page builder and basically roll all of the stuff out, from every town and every city in the whole of the UK or wherever you may be, and they're ranking really well, which is beyond belief. It's not beyond belief though, but obviously Google have got this big thing about duplicate content and all that stuff. Now, if your niche is not that competitive, you will get away with it. What I have found is that obviously the more competitive the niche, like for example, SEO is quite competitive. So if I was to roll out a mass page builder and pretty much use 90% of the same content and just change a little bit, to cover the city, it's not good enough. It's not going to work, because the other guys in those cities do have proper pages full of unique content. So it really comes down to the niche you're in. So it can work, but if you're in a competitive market, unfortunately, you are going to have to get a chunk at least a chunk of that content to be unique from city to city. But the mass page builder thing works really well in low competition niches, and all that was really changed out was the city name, and they also pulled in something from Wikipedia to say, like, you know, Leeds is, you know, has a cathedral and whatever else. It's, you know, some crappy little bit of information about the location specific. That was the only thing that was unique on those pages. And that works and still works to this day. And I know loads of guys who've used mass page builders like SERPshaker and whatnot and do have decent results. So it comes down to competition level. Donny in South Yorkshire. So last question, or last two questions. Do you have a source where you can find the right affiliate digital program? Matt, you just have to manually check, mate. There's nowhere, you know, that's going to push you into the right direction. You know, you can Google a whole bunch of affiliate websites, and I'm sure there's bloggers out there saying, like, these are the best commissions or whatever. But I think you have to do your own research and see what's going on. Last question, another question. What's your opinion on the Project 24 stuff from Income School? They're massively focused on affiliate blogs and ranking without any major SEO work. To be honest, I've not really looked, but if it works, it works. And if they're making money, follow it. It's worth having a look. How to do Shopify SEO. If you Google that, you will probably find an answer to it. There's not my preferred platform, quite restrictive, but sadly we are out of time and I'm not able to answer that one, but it's not a preferred choice. I would say don't use Shopify. But on that note, I am going to end the question and answers and wish everyone a good weekend, and hopefully we'll catch up with you guys at some point next week. Thank you guys. Cheers.